I once told everyone about a love that hadn't even learned how to breathe yet, and before it could grow strong, it died quietly, not because it wasn't real, but because too many eyes watched it before it learned how to survive. I used to believe that love needed witnesses, that speaking about it made it more real, more powerful, more alive. When I fell in love, I talked about it everywhere, to friends, to strangers, to anyone willing to listen. I described the future like it was already written, painted dreams in the air as if words alone could build a home. I thought sharing meant commitment, and silence meant doubt. I didn't realize that love, like a fragile flame, trembles when exposed too early to the wind. Every time I spoke about what we were going to become, a little pressure settled between us. Expectations grew faster than understanding. Opinions entered a space that was meant only for two hearts. Some people smiled, others questioned, some silently wished for our failure. I didn't see it then, but love does not need applause to be genuine. It needs safety. It needs time to grow without being judged, measured, or compared. There is something sacred about keeping love plans quiet. When you stop telling your plans, you stop inviting unnecessary energy into something delicate. Love is not weak, but it is sensitive. It listens to tone, absorbs intention, and reacts to doubt even when it isn't spoken. The more I talked, the more I felt the weight of proving something instead of living it. Love began to feel like a performance rather than a connection. I learned that not every heart deserves to know what you are building. Some people listen with curiosity, others with envy, and some with fear disguised as concern. Silence became my way of protecting what mattered. I stopped explaining, stopped announcing, stopped seeking validation. In that quiet space, love felt lighter, purer, and more honest. It wasn't hidden, it was protected. When you truly love, you don't rush to narrate the story before it unfolds. You let actions speak, moments breathe, and trust grow without interference. Love that survives silence is strong. Love that grows without announcements is real. So stop telling your plans, not because you fear losing them, but because what is meant to last doesn't need to be spoken before it becomes undeniable. Love does not begin loudly. It begins in a quiet place, somewhere between two hearts that haven't yet learned how to protect themselves from the noise of the world. At the start, love is soft, almost shy, like a secret glance or a shared silence that feels heavier than words. When love is new, it does not ask to be announced, it asks to be understood. Silence becomes its shelter, a space where emotions can deepen without being questioned, judged, or rushed. When you keep love quiet, it has room to breathe. There are no expectations pressing down on it, no timelines imposed by outside voices, no comparisons stealing its uniqueness. Silence allows love to grow at its natural pace, not faster, not slower, just honest. In that quiet, two people learn each other without interference. They discover flaws gently, accept imperfections slowly, and build trust without an audience watching every step. Speaking too soon exposes love before it is strong enough to defend itself. Words travel faster than emotions can keep up with. Once spoken, plans become promises in the minds of others, and love begins to carry weight it never asked for. Silence removes that burden. It keeps love light, pure, and personal. It allows feelings to mature before they are tested. In silence, love becomes intentional. Every action matters more because it is not performed for approval. Care is shown in small gestures rather than grand declarations. Presence replaces explanation. Effort replaces storytelling. Love stops being something you talk about and becomes something you live quietly, deeply, and sincerely. Silence also teaches patience. It reminds you that real love does not rush to prove itself. It doesn't need constant validation or public recognition. It knows its value without being announced. In that quiet growth, love becomes resilient, able to withstand doubts, distance, and time. It learns strength before exposure. When love grows in silence, it belongs only to those involved. It is not shaped by opinions or altered by advice that doesn't understand its depth. It stays authentic because it is untouched. Silence becomes an act of care, a way of saying this matters too much to be spoken carelessly, this is precious enough to protect, this deserves time before the world is invited in. When you fall in love, your dreams become fragile extensions of your heart. They carry hope, vulnerability, and belief in something that does not yet exist but feels real enough to touch. Sharing those dreams with the wrong hearts can quietly drain their strength. Not everyone listens with care, and not everyone wants to see something beautiful grow. Some people hear dreams as stories, others hear them as competition, and a few hear them as something to question rather than protect. In love, dreams are sacred. They are not just plans, they are emotional investments. When you speak them too freely, you allow others to shape them with their opinions. Doubt enters softly, disguised as advice. Fear arrives wearing concern. Slowly, what once felt pure begins to feel heavy. The dream doesn't change, but the way you carry it does. Love starts bending to explanations instead of unfolding naturally. There is a difference between sharing joy and exposing vulnerability. Not every smile is supportive, and not every listener is safe. Some hearts are curious but careless. They listen, then leave, taking pieces of your excitement with them. Others hold on to your words and reflect them back with skepticism, making you question something you once felt certain about. Love does not need to be defended before it has even lived. Protecting your dreams is an act of emotional wisdom. Silence becomes a filter, allowing only trust to pass through. When you stop explaining your love, you start honoring it. You learn to recognize who respects your feelings without needing details. The right hearts do not demand access, they earn it through consistency and care. In love, privacy is not secrecy, it is respect. Keeping dreams close gives them strength. They grow clearer when they are not constantly reinterpreted by others. Your connection deepens because it remains yours, untouched by unnecessary influence. Love becomes a shared experience instead of a shared topic. Not every heart understands the language of love. Some speak fear, some speak doubt, some speak limits. When you choose silence, you choose to let love speak for itself. Dreams deserve safe hands, patient hearts, and quiet spaces where they can grow without being questioned, measured, or prematurely judged. Love begins as an intention long before it becomes a reality. It lives first in the heart, then in actions, and only later in words. When spoken too early, intentions lose their power. Words create images and expectations that love may not yet be ready to carry. Premature promises turn gentle feelings into obligations, and what was meant to grow naturally starts feeling pressured to perform. In love, timing matters more than expression. Saying too much too soon invites misunderstanding. Feelings are still forming, trust is still being built, and certainty is still finding its shape. When intentions are announced before they are anchored in experience, they become fragile. Any small change, any moment of doubt, begins to feel like failure because words were spoken before emotions settled. Pure intentions are quiet. They show themselves through consistency, presence, and effort. When you speak before you act, love becomes louder than it is strong. You start explaining instead of demonstrating. You start reassuring others instead of nurturing the connection itself. Premature words shift the focus from feeling to proving, from living the moment to protecting the statement. There is also a subtle loss of magic when everything is said too early. Love thrives in discovery. When intentions are revealed before they are fully understood, curiosity fades. The mystery that allows two hearts to explore each other disappears. Silence keeps the experience alive, allowing emotions to deepen without being defined too soon. Words also create expectations that do not belong to the present. The future is pulled forward, and love is asked to meet it before it is ready. This pressure can suffocate even the most genuine connection. What started as a choice becomes a responsibility, and love begins to carry weight it did not choose. By holding back words, you give intentions time to mature. You allow feelings to stabilize and actions to align with what the heart truly wants. Love becomes grounded, not rushed. When words finally come, they are not fragile promises but reflections of something already lived. Silence preserves honesty. It prevents you from speaking out of emotion rather than clarity. It keeps intentions clean, untouched by ego or the desire to impress. In that quiet space, love grows strong enough to carry words without breaking under their weight. Love is not only expressed through affection and words, it is revealed through what you choose to protect. When you care deeply for someone, you instinctively want to shield what you are building from anything that could harm it. Protection in love is quiet, intentional, and often invisible to the outside world. It is choosing privacy over publicity, patience over explanation, and understanding over noise. Every growing love needs boundaries. Without them, it becomes exposed to opinions that do not understand its depth. People often mistake protection for secrecy, but they are not the same. Secrecy hides out of fear, while protection hides out of care. When love is protected, it is given the space to grow strong before facing judgment or scrutiny. It is allowed to find its balance without being constantly disturbed. Protecting love means being selective about what you share and with whom. Not every question deserves an answer, and not every curiosity deserves access. Some people ask because they care, others ask because they want control, comparison, or entertainment. When you protect your relationship, you decide that its value is too high to be discussed casually. Silence becomes a boundary that guards emotional peace. Protection also means shielding love from unnecessary pressure. Public expectations can turn private moments into responsibilities. When others know your plans, they unknowingly begin to measure your progress. Love then feels watched instead of lived. By keeping things private, you remove the need to explain delays, changes, or struggles. You allow love to evolve naturally, without the fear of disappointing an audience. In love, protection is choosing to fix things quietly instead of announcing problems loudly. It is handling misunderstandings with care rather than seeking external validation. It is trusting the connection enough to work through challenges internally. This kind of protection strengthens bonds because it builds trust and emotional safety. True love does not need constant exposure to feel real. It needs reassurance, consistency, and respect. Protecting love is a promise made without words, a decision to guard something precious from unnecessary harm. When you choose protection, you are choosing longevity over attention, depth over display, and intention over noise, allowing love to exist in a space where it feels safe, valued, and deeply respected. In love, promises are easy to make when emotions are high, but results require patience, effort, and consistency. Words can sound beautiful, especially when feelings are intense, but love is not proven by what is said in moments of passion. It is revealed through what remains when emotions settle. Letting results speak means allowing actions to quietly confirm what the heart feels without the need for repeated declarations. Promises create expectations, and expectations create pressure. When you promise too much too soon, love begins to carry a future it has not yet lived. Every delay feels like a failure, every change feels like a betrayal. Results, on the other hand, unfold naturally. They do not demand belief, they earn it. When love is shown through effort, time, and presence, trust grows without force. In a love story, results are found in consistency. They appear in showing up even on difficult days, in choosing understanding over ego, in staying patient when silence is misunderstood. These actions speak louder than any vow. They build a foundation that does not shake when words fade. Love becomes something felt rather than explained. Letting results speak also removes the need to convince anyone. When you stop announcing what you plan to do, you start focusing on doing it. Energy that was once spent on talking is redirected into building. Love becomes quieter but stronger. It does not need validation because its impact is visible to those who matter. Promises can be broken by circumstances, fear, or growth. Results adapt. They evolve with time and reflect real commitment. Love shown through actions feels safer because it is grounded in reality. It does not rely on future statements but on present behavior. This kind of love creates peace instead of anxiety. When results speak, love becomes undeniable. There is no need to defend it, explain it, or justify it. It stands on its own strength. Silence surrounds it, not because there is nothing to say, but because everything that needs to be understood is already being shown through patience, effort, loyalty, and the quiet decision to choose the same heart every single day.